Here's another Patriot liner tech tip brought to you by Ben, the bed liner guy. My name is Ben Alden. Today we're going to service the wet cup. If not maintained properly, it can cause some pretty severe damage down here in the pump housing setup. So we're going to go ahead and maintenance that. Some of the tools that you're going to use to maintenance that is you're going to need some sort of solvent cleaner to clean the filter that's within this wet cup itself. And then you're going to want to replenish what we dump out with some Graco throat seal liquid. We're going to use an air chuck. This air chuck is going to actually blow out these lines because you do get some buildup in these lines. So we want to purge out these lines with air. And then you can use a mixing stick. We have a screwdriver. You're going to want to clean the inside of this cup before you put any new throat seal liquid. And we're going to go through that whole process here in just a second. All right, so the first step you're going to want to do is you want to rotate your machine, okay? This will take the pressure off the spring that's inside that wet cup. So when you go to blow out these lines with air, it'll just basically push right straight through. There'll be no resistance with that spring all the way down. So it allows the wet cup to be completely all the way open, all right? And how do you do that? Very simple. You're going to go ahead on either the Reactor EXP2 or the XP1. They all have a jog mode. So this jog mode, we're going to click this button here. You can see the green light lit up a little bit. It says J10. That's a little bit too high. So we're going to throttle that down to J1. And then we're just going to go ahead and hit the machine on, and that's going to rotate the motor. And basically what we're looking for is we're looking for this piston shaft to go all the way up. So we're going to go ahead and click that on. We're going to let it rotate. We're going to hold one button on the stop. Make sure this goes all the way up. Now that it's all the way up, now we can go ahead and properly service our wet cup. All right, so finally we're at the point now where we can go ahead and service our wet cup. So what you're going to want to do is just remove it from there. All right. Try to get it over a garbage can. It is going to make a little bit of a mess. This should be done once a month, just to help prolong the life of your A-side pump. So I really encourage guys to do it once a month. So we're going to go ahead and remove our bottle. And it's going to drip a little bit. So just dump this out. Going to want to wipe inside there. I got a couple clean rags here. Just going to toss that in there. We have a flathead screwdriver. You can use a mixing stick or something long just to kind of clean whatever's in there out. You can use air. Just make sure it's not pointing at your face because you will get covered. So now that our bottle is pretty much clean, what we'll do is just kind of go ahead and fill this up. So I like to go about 2/3 of the way full. Somewhere's right about there. So now we're going to work over here. So these valves, they're one-way check valves. They can only go one way. So you have a filter here. This will suck in the throat seal liquid, and this will dispense the throat seal liquid back into the bottle. So what we want to do is we want to pull this filter off. You can see on these valves there are an arrow. So if you don't remember, there's an arrow showing which direction the fluid flows. All right, so that's right there. So we're going to pop this filter off real quick, and we'll take our brake clean. Just give it a little bit of a spray. That's all set. You can hold it up to the light, look through it, make sure your filter is pretty clean. We'll set that aside. Next step is going to be we're going to want to purge out these lines, all right? So you want to push out any of the old throat seal liquid, which has been mixing with the ISO. What happens is that causes some buildup down here where it connects to the wet cup itself, and then can start backing up into these hoses. So this is very important. You do want to purge these lines out. It's very simple to do. Just get yourself an air chuck. Try to have a rag. It's going to basically blow air through here, and it's going to come out there. You're going to want to go into a garbage can or some sort of waste bucket. So we're going to go ahead and just put a little bit of air there. All right. We got good airflow. So now we know that this is nice and cleaned out. We can go ahead and prime the system. All right. How do you prime the system? We're going to use this throat seal liquid bottle. It has a little nipple on top of it that will pop off. It is important to keep this sealed up. This stuff can pull moisture if you're in a real humid area, if you want to keep that cap on top of there or keep it sealed up somehow. And then we're going to take our bottle, we're going to stick it right inside this check valve. Kind of squeeze. And we'll wait until it comes out the bottom there, out of the return. All right, so now we got some good flow. We're gonna reinstall our filter. Real quick though, we'll say if you're feeling some resistance when you're trying to prime it, there is a little check ball in here. You can take a small screwdriver or something real tiny, some sort of pick, and push that ball just to make sure that it's free, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and reinstall our bottle. So you can see the orientation of the filter to the return. It's fine to install it like this, but once it's in the bottle, you're gonna want the filter all the way at the top of the throat seal liquid and the return all the way at the bottom of the throat seal liquid, all right? This allows the filter to pull in clean throat seal liquid, and then the contaminated ISO mixed with the throat seal liquid is so heavy it just floats right to the bottom. So we're gonna put it in the bottle like this, but then we're gonna orientate it. We're gonna pull this one up high and keep that down low. So we're gonna go ahead and set this in. Okay, so now that's in there, we can see the return. So I'm just gonna grab, probably gonna be this one here, and I'm gonna pull the filter all the way up. Sometimes you can kind of see where it's sitting through the clear liquid. So I know the filter is high, the return is at the bottom, and that's how you go ahead and maintain your wet cup on your machine. All right, so as your shop gets busier and busier, and your machine is being used more, this throat seal liquid can get contaminated, where these hoses will get built up, all right? So what's common is where this 90-degree fitting is, that's where it starts to build up with the cross-contamination of ISO and throat seal liquid. So you have a 90-degree fitting here, and in some cases you have a 90-degree fitting on the back side of this pump, which is here. If you do have one there, I would suggest you remove it from the back side and just put the straight hose barb fitting in the back, and that'll help with the flow of the throat seal liquid through the wet cup without any buildup or debris. If your hose is black, it's probably the wet cup is not working properly. So I would either get a hold of a tech to possibly talk about maybe a complete service. There's something going on there. There's a good way that I can show you how to check to make sure that this wet cup is functioning properly. The first way is if somebody is spraying, if your guy is spraying and you want to come in and say, hey, is my wet cup working? These hoses will actually pulsate. They'll kind of move like that. Or you can touch your hand on them, you can feel them pulsate a little bit. If you're by yourself, you're a shop owner that's by yourself, I'm going to show you how to do it in the jog mode. You can literally jog this machine, and these hoses will pulsate, and that way you know your wet cup is working. Just because you clean the filter and you put new throat seal liquid in, and 3 months later everything is still clean, you got a problem. So literally you should see the discoloration very quickly within like 1 or 2 barrel sets. You'll see it start to get cloudy down here at the bottom. If left neglected, this throat seal liquid could literally turn to peanut butter. At that point, you need a complete service. So let's go ahead and jog this real quick, and we'll be able to see these pulsate. So first thing you want to do is make sure that the machine is in the recirculation position. So both valves are facing outward to the drum. All right. And what we'll do is you're going to want to connect your drum pump. So it's going to get a little loud here. Connect both of our drum pumps. We'll wake our machine up. We're going to go ahead and hit the jog mode. Turn it on, and now I'm going to throttle it back up, maybe to about J6, J7. You can see these clear lines pulsating. I know that this wet cup is completely working fine. If you don't see any kind of movement or feel any kind of movement, then it's time to do a complete service. And like I said, get a hold of a local tech. And that is how you service a wet cup.